What's going on, YouTube fragrance lovers out there? Thanks for joining me here once again on my channel, Steven Sturgill. Let's take a look at yet another Montblanc scent fragrance. Today, guys, we're looking at this guy right here. This is their supposedly eau de parfum, but I don't think it's quite perfume strength. Quite frankly, I think it's much more in line with an EDT, and really nowhere near the strongest EDT that I've ever experienced, which, to its credit, had an eau de parfum concentration, or well, I don't know about concentration, but effect in terms of longevity. This one has fairly adequate longevity on skin, but actual projection longevity is quite poor. I didn't get much past 30 to 45 minutes of real projection, and then the scent bubble was very modest and lasted about another 4 to 5 hours, I want to say. Now, the skin scent did last a lot longer than that, so I mean, I did smell it on skin many hours later, but it did not project like at all. Now, I don't know, I can't swear that other people didn't smell me. This will be my scent of the night. Yet once again, I do want to give this a little bit more testing. I feel like the other day was it was a little bit of a crazy day. I was going back and forth between different things going on, and also I was testing other fragrances as well. So I want to give this its due justice. But let's get into the some of the facets. The bottle, for example, I think is easily one of the best on the entire perfume market. Very classy. Very simple, elegant lines. Again, looking kind of like a flask of old. This is unlike the other Montblanc that I reviewed recently. This one, I think, let's see. Well, maybe not. I guess it's just a snap fit. Okay. Snaps on pretty good, but it almost feels like it wants to come undone at some point, but I don't know. The more I think about it, though, I'm starting to like this more than I care to. I know that sounds crazy. Let me explain. This fragrance has come under a lot of fire in Fragcom and online, and rightfully so, not rightfully so, whatever. It's just, that's what happens in our game. You release something on the market, and if it's not perfect, it gets taken to task and shredded. And there's haters, there's lovers, there's detractors, yada, yada, yada. Some of the opponents of this fragrance state that even accepting the weakness of the longevity, like say you just ignore that, right? Still, to them, it's very generic. It's sweet. Yes, it's aromatic, but it's uninspired. It's kind of a mess of notes and doesn't do anything for them. But this really is a very pleasant, fruity, warm, slightly spicy scent that really is just very pleasant to smell. Now, I agree, it doesn't smell niche. It doesn't necessarily even hold with the best designer scents out there in terms of note distinction, naturalness, and a sense of quality. Although I think this smells pretty high quality for what it is. It's just the fact that it is a bit generic. And in fact, right out of the opening, I was reminded not so much of the smell, but kind of like a similarity of body, of essence of some of my Baldessarini colognes. But as this dries down, guys, don't sleep on this. It gets pretty rootin' tootin' good. You won't hear rootin' tootin' again for a long time, I bet you. But I think this is pretty darn good. It's just that the projection and longevity are average at best, and quite possibly a good bit worse than average. As long as you're not talking about skin scent. Or maybe a very modest scent bubble. And for the fact that, again, this is sort of straddling like the likes of like Youp, Eau de Parfum for men, and like some of the YSL stuff mixed with some of the Dior stuff. It's I don't know. It's doing a lot, sort of in that modern, aggressive, millennial. I want to smell good, but I want to smell sweet. I want to smell spicy, but not too spicy. I want to smell aquatic, but not overly aquatic. This is kind of that type of scent to a T. Well, let's get into the note breakdown, then we'll talk about some further aspects if you're still here. Okay, so this dropped in last year, 2017. We're fixing to be in 2019. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, let's not forget, guys, that Montblanc is fixing to drop an all-new Manfrag in February called Explorer. Good-looking, classy bottle, possibly some leather on the bottle or synthetic pleather. Pretty little interesting, modest note breakdown. Definitely want to get my nose on that and see what all the hype is about. I wanted to throw that out there in case you're not aware. Now you are. But okay, moving on. So we get, and this is what they say we get. I don't agree with all this, but whatever. We'll get into that in a minute. Clary sage, peppermint, cardamom, bergamot, cedarwood, some floral tones, some lavender, some vanilla, some vetiver, some akigala wood, and that is a patented aroma chemical, I believe owned and developed by Givaudan, and it's basically a molecularly, how can I say, customized version of patchouli. It's a very structured area of the patchouli molecules, if you will, and so some things have been cut off, and so it gives this almost slightly cinnamony, warm, pungent, think ginger, but without an actual sharpness of ginger, right? Mixed with cinnamon and mixed with patchouli and cardamom. That's kind of what that smells like. Also smells almost a little bit vaguely like spicy musk, but this does have musk in it as well, and this also does have patchouli in it as well. So there's a lot of things in here, but this comes off, at least into the dry down, sort of as a indeterminate fruit, maybe something out of Southeast Asia or something, mixed with a little bit of pear, a little bit of plum, not a traditional like sweet nor sour plum, but just something in that fruity, almost slightly peachy kind of way, but don't think peach. It doesn't smell like peach, but it has this little sweet, fruity compote type essence. And then you do get some of the heat or spiciness off the cardamom and the cinnamon, and the or at least I think it has cinnamon. Did I say it has cinnamon? I don't know. There's a cinnamony like accord in here, and maybe that's from the akigala wood mixing with the musk and the cardamom and the vanilla. This does have, again, vanilla. So I think this is a really good winter scent, guys. I think this is a pretty good Christmas scent. It's a pretty good all-around scent in general, and I think that it could be a really good date night or club fragrance. Again, performance is not going to be great. Projection is not going to be awesome. But I think if you're dancing the night away in a club and you're sweating, that's going to reactivate. We know that reactivates colognes and eau de toilettes and parfums. So give it a shot. Get your nose on this. See what you think. I like it. I'm not in love with it. That's for sure. I don't think it's a home run. I think it could definitely have been better. I think the breakdown of the aroma chemicals could have been a little bit more risky or a little bit more over the top. Some of those notes could have been a little bit more defined. And above and beyond all, I think the longevity and projection really should be pretty much doubled. If they just doubled the projection longevity, this would be an absolute headbanger for sure, or wall banger, however you want to say it. This would be a pretty phenomenal little scent. Is it groundbreaking? It's debatable. It's definitely different from most of its competitors, at least in some kind of facet. So I think it's a little bit unique, but it's not so unique that you think that, wow, this is all new. What a concept. No, it's definitely not an all new concept. But I think it very safely distinguishes itself from really all of what I would call its immediate competitors. That's just my opinion. Obviously, feel free to disagree. Now, to wrap it up, guys, this comes in 30, 50, and 100 ml sizes. And I think I got this online really cheap at a discounter. I want to say this is the 100 mils. I think I paid outer limit $25 for this, and that included shipping. So, 25 to 27, something like that, we'll say. A heck of a buy. I think this is a very fun, sexy, slightly sophisticated scent. Is it the greatest thing since the wheel and fire? Of course not. But I think this is a worthy addition if you're a Montblanc fan or just a fan of these types of scents that sort of straddle a strange area between aquatic, aromatic, gourmand, and even fougere. Definitely not a chypre, although there is some slightly powdery violet in here, and lavender, but definitely not going very much into the chypre zone. Again, that apple note definitely comes out. The fir, maybe a little bit. It's hard to tell. There's so much going on in here, guys. Most of it just blends so effortlessly together. The one note I really did not get was the peppermint. Now maybe it's like a peppermint leaf and not so much the oils, and I think of the pungent peppermint candy. I'm not getting any peppermint candy whatsoever in this. So if you're thinking of that type of peppermint, please look elsewhere. This is not that fragrance. This is not that peppermint. But most of the other notes are definitely present and accounted for. The vetiver, it's here. I think it comes out a little bit way more in the deep dry down. I didn't get a lot of vetiver in the opening. Your nose might be different than mine, and you might pick that up right away. I definitely get some of the vanilla. It's definitely in the background doing its thing. You can smell it, but it's somewhat lost in the mix. Definitely not an over the top. If you're concerned about something being overly vanillic, this is not that fragrance. You can smell it, but it's in there along with a whole host of other elements, scent, fragrance notes, if you will, and accords. That is going to do it, guys. I think this is pretty good. At least for now. I'm not going to go so far as to say great. Not a home run. Pretty darn good. It's almost a... It's a pretty interesting dumb range fragrance as long as you know what you're getting into. This is not for everyone. It's a bit polarizing. I wouldn't necessarily walk into a boardroom meeting wearing this. But I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm just saying I think it'd take a braver person than myself to do that. This is a bit candy shop vibe, but it does have the musk and some of the other things going on. It's youthful, it's playful, it is definitely sensuous or sensual, but at the same time, despite its somewhat degrees of complexity, it's somewhat of a slightly simplistic, it's almost kind of like a 3 accords or a 4-note type frag. That's really all I'm getting, is about 4 to 5 notes max. I don't get all of the other notes. You might. I'm not. I'm only getting about, like I said, 3 to 4, maybe a 5th outer limit. But it's an interesting, good, safe reach fragrance for a lot of occasions. I definitely, again, won't say all occasions. I definitely think this skews younger, not older. I can't see too many men above 40 rocking this too often. I'm not saying never. And I would be very hard-pressed to believe that any men in their 50s or 60s would ever choose to buy, own, or wear this fragrance. Just because it is somewhat slightly, I don't want to say immature. I just think it's a more youthful choice, if that makes sense. Again, it's not that it smells like a 19-year-old. It's not at all what I'm saying. I just don't think it smells as refined or gentlemanly as many older men those are the scents that they choose to gravitate towards, or that they naturally rather gravitate towards, if that makes sense. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a very happy New Year. Here we are on the 28th. I will hopefully have some more content posted before then. Anyways, hope you're having a fantastic holiday season. Wish you the best. Stay healthy. Spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms, not someone else's. Love you guys. Catch you next time with some, hopefully, fun new content.